Good morning, my creative friends. Dr. Minette Riordan here for another episode of Painting in Your PJs live with Minette. I am here in my PJs covered in paint from a big project that I've been working on. Hair standing up, it's how I roll. I've been down here painting already for about an hour and a half. Painting in the mornings is my happy place. It's the thing that brings me so much joy as well as connection to myself. And one of the reasons that I wanted to do the theme of a gratitude art journal for November, good morning, Judy, was to reconnect with some of those parts of myself that maybe I'm not honoring or paying attention to. And I love art journaling as a process for personal growth and just that self-exploration. And at a time of year when things feel really busy, when things in the world feel really chaotic, this is a really important time to pause and really notice what we feel grateful for. Good morning, Mary. And I find that if I start from a place of gratitude, I feel more love, I feel more peace, I feel more calm, and I go through my day with a whole different energy. So if you're just stopping by for the first time, welcome. Please hit that subscribe button. If you click the little bell, also you get notified of other times when I go live, and you'll find in the description of this video a link to our 2023 gratitude prompt journal. Had a different one last year. I'm really loving the prompts this year, and was delivering a live program last week, so I haven't been sharing live in my journal, but I've been writing and playing away on my own and just finding that it up levels my energy every single day to start from this energy of gratitude. Good morning, Tori. Good morning, Blanca. Great to be here with everybody this morning. And so I'm going to go ahead and change my screen. So welcome. If you're joining the replay, welcome. If you're joining me live, thank you. So glad you're here. If you're watching the replay, would you just type replay in the comments so I can say hi and know that you stopped by? Super appreciate that. So let me go change my camera here. So I'm actually going to look at two prompts today. One is really simple and playful. Good morning, Leslie. You're up early, my friend. I want to look at one that's really simple and playful, and then one that's a little more complicated. And to remind you that when you're working in your art journal, that it doesn't all have to be the same, that it doesn't all have to be complicated, that it doesn't have to be these, really long pages that take a long time. I really loved this page, and I want to thank everybody who watched this video. There have been over 300 people watch this video, and I'm so appreciative. And then this was gratitude for all the women that showed up for my Wizard of Oz class, some of whom are here today, so thank you all. And I was sitting in front of the TV playing with some of the tangles from Inktober Tangles 2023. I'm still practicing and loving a lot of those tangles. And this was a moment of gratitude for flowers. So I had a lot of fun with that prompt. So remembering that your art journal can look any way you want it to. And I've had a few questions about the journal that I'm using. This is by a company called Hanemuhle, Hanemuhle. They're available at Jerry's. Amazon has them. My friend Andrea sells these at aworkofheartstudio.com. So they're not hard to find. And I really love, they're just sketch paper. It's not like super great mixed media paper, but I love the lines on one side and the blank page on the other side. And so I have a lot of fun with the journaling and the drawing and the painting and the collaging. And I'm really missing doing some collage. So I'm thinking that for tomorrow evening, when I go live for Painting in Your PJs, the PM edition, that maybe I'm going to pull out some collage materials tomorrow. And then I've had some messy fun for a couple of days. And the prompt, I want to do two prompts today. One is 3 things about my physical health I'm grateful for. And one is what's a beautiful aspect of nature that I'm grateful for in my surroundings. And I was watching a lovely video by my friend Robin Marie Smith, And this was kind of my take on her abstract process. And as I was sort of playing and thinking, her theme was flowers and she was doing collage, and I'm like, I'm so grateful every summer, especially late summer as the season changes, for the sunflowers that bloom here bountifully in such great abundance and bring me such great joy. So I'm going to see if I can turn this messy, messy page into a sunflower painting. So we'll see how that goes. But first I wanted to draw this cute cartoon again. And I'm going to just draw it on the back of this messy, messy page here. And I'm going to invite you to just grab a pen and draw along with me. And I'm going to draw on the line side this morning. Let's see what we got here. And I think I'm just going to come in with one of my favorite pens, which is the Papermate Inkjoy pen. And I have been for several years now drawing this cartoon version of myself. And I encourage you to draw a cartoon version of yourself. It's super fun. And to use that in your art journal as a way to express different things that you're feeling or thinking about. And stick figures are the bomb, right? Like, we don't have to overthink our art. And I think oftentimes we overthink our art, me included. And so this prompt was to list 3 things about your physical health that you're thankful for. And I had some resistance to this one. It made me feel a little bit grumpy because I've been struggling with some health issues, related to menopause and getting older and not being as physically fit as I'd like to be. So I had to really dig deep. And by doing this, I was out at the post office yesterday, or the grocery store or somewhere, walking across the parking lot. It was a beautiful sunny day and I was feeling really energetic and I was walking quickly. And I'm like, Minette, you're only 58, right? You have so much energy. Like, remember to be grateful for the health that you do have. It's so easy to focus on, oh, I got to lose that last weight, or, oh, I don't want to be doing this or doing that, or I can't do that anymore. And so it reminded me of this prompt. So I'm just going to come in. I'm going to draw a circle for my head. And I'm going to give myself some short curly hair. My hair's really straight right now because it's so dry in Colorado in the winter, and I like it much better when my hair is curly. And I've got glasses on, so I'm going to put my glasses on first. They're coming out pretty big here. So this is how simple a cartoon character of ourselves can be. Give myself some eyebrows. And of course we need some eyes. And those are kind of looking down into the side. A little nose. And a really simple little mouth. Like, it doesn't have to be complicated. And again, she's reflective of me. Maybe I want her to have some little ears and some little dangly earrings. I love earrings. And in the world of Zoom, I realize I'm wearing these headphones. I don't wear earrings, and so I have to remember to wear them. And then I have always loved dresses, and triangles are easy to draw. So my body was just simply a triangle. Give that dress a little neck. And then I'm going to have some arms, just simple triangles. And this is where we really get to have fun. And I spend a lot of time in the evenings drawing stick figures in different shapes and dimensions. And one of the things that I'm grateful for is that I have the energy to draw, to write, to paint. So I'm going to come in and put a little paintbrush in here. And maybe a little pen or pencil in here. Give myself some little hands. And her dress is pretty long today. And some little feet. And there I have just this very simple representation of myself. And because I love zentangle, I'm often coming in and maybe adding patterns and designs to things, right? To gussy her up a little bit. Maybe she's got a little necklace on to match those little earrings. And creating little cartoon characters like this that represent ourselves can be super fun. And so doing this, then I came back and reminded myself that I'm so grateful for my feet. I'm grateful for my legs that keep me moving and walking, right? That I'm still standing, moving, able to stretch. So it's really important to me to have the energy to get out and walk and move in nature as well. Maybe we'll have her just standing in a little bit of grass here. I'm grateful for my hands that allow me to write and paint and do the work that I love so much. I'm grateful for my sight. I think the prompt was 3 things, and of course once I started there was so many more than 3 things, right? I'm grateful for my heart, for the love that it generates and the kindness that I have to give to others, but also that my heart keeps beating, right? And helps me to have the energy that I need. So this was just a really fun, super simple way for me to express gratitude for my physical body. And I'm going to write that on here so I don't forget. And I think it's so easy for many of us to spend so much time living in our heads or even in our hearts, but we forget about our bodies. We tend to neglect, avoid, right? Oh, think we'll worry about it later. And it's when our aspects of our physical bodies start to give us trouble and call out for our attention that it requires us to pay so much more attention. Excuse me. So a super quick prompt and a fun way to think about the prompt that was 3 things about your physical health that you're thankful for. So again, what I love about art journaling, what did that take me? Maybe 5-7 minutes. It can be really simple and fun. It doesn't have to be complicated. And then sometimes I love the complicated. I love the messy, right? I love the many layers. So I did my journaling underneath this page, and the prompt for this one was reflect on a small act of kindness that someone did for me recently and how it made me feel. So I did some fun journaling about that. I think I'm gonna turn this around to the back side here. And then I was looking at the next prompt. So I'm combining some of these prompts, which also feels really fun. And I started looking at what's that aspect of nature that I love. As I mentioned, it's sunflowers. So I'm going to come in and see if I can just start adding some really abstract sunflowers to this page. I've got some greens and a variety of yellows. And let's see what kind of magic we can create with our sunflowers. So I'm curious, as you're watching along, if you're still here with me live, what is an aspect of your physical self that you're grateful for? What's an aspect of your physical self that you are grateful for? I think it's so important. Maybe it's your smile. Maybe it's your gorgeous eyes. I'm thinking about Leslie has the most beautiful hair, and it has this gorgeous swatch, I guess. I don't know. A part of it's purple, and so it's delightful, right? And I'm wondering if you're grateful for your hair. Trying to get that paint did not want to come open. So think about it. The different things, like I am grateful for my hair. My hair is pretty easy. I've never had to fuss with my hair. And then I'll ask you to think about what's an aspect of nature that delights you in your surroundings. It's an aspect of nature that delights you in your surroundings. Leslie, you and Nikki both with your gorgeous colored hair. So much fun. So when you think about nature, And I want to keep these sort of loose and abstract and very bright. I'm thinking I might draw the seeds in the center. I'm not sure yet. Probably got way too much paint on the page here. And as you flip through your journals, it can be really fun to start pages and let them sit for a while. So this was one I started on the weekend, or maybe last week, it doesn't matter. And I didn't know where I was going with it. And it just had to sit for a couple of days, right? It just had to sit for a couple of days. And when I walked back over here and saw it again, I'm like, oh, it's going to be a bouquet of sunflowers. But I had so much fun. Trees, leaves, rocks, colors in the quiet. Yes, love that. The sunflowers, the mountains. My husband and I drove over to a town in the plains this weekend, and when we turned to come back, drive back towards home, we had a whole different view of the mountains that was so spectacular. Thank you, Judy. I had a ton of fun following some of Robin Marie's layering tips. She and I approach the page. I got too many pieces of things hanging in the middle here. Approach things very differently, but I loved the way she kind of layered up things. I did a lot of writing on the page first, and I'm kind of curious. You know what? Thank you, Tori. So it's so much about, well, first the centers were already there, but it's how we learn to use the brush. It's how we learn to use our brush. I know I've said that on the show before, but it's learning to use your brushes. And so one of the activities, practice activities, sorry about that, that I recommend is more play with your brushes. It's a great way to build up abstract pages or put marks down on things, is to play with the brush, right? You can I intentionally picked this brush because I knew it would make that shape, right? So the centers of the sunflowers here are this gorgeous dark brown. And I'm wondering if I want them to be brown. Do I want them to have some texture? And I'm thinking this is going to need maybe a little bird sitting in it, a little funky, quirky bird, because the finches and the goldfinches love the sunflowers and have been really busy eating up all the seeds before they're gone. Yes, Tori, your smile is pretty amazing. You have the most like joyful, welcoming smile, and I'm still so delighted we got to meet in person and can't wait for you to come back to visit your sister in Estes Park again. All right, so I want to add some brighter yellows and probably a little bit of white, but I like where this is going, and so I want this layer to dry a little bit. And I'm going to put some stems down here, and I'm almost thinking that I'm wondering if I want them to be in a vase, and what would that look like if I brought in maybe a bright blue vase against the yellow of those sunflowers, as if I had cut those and brought them into the house. And I definitely squeezed out too much of that yellow paint, but it will get used for something for sure. So let me grab, I think this is a sketch and wash pencil. And so what if we came in, and I don't want to cover up all of the background. I really love the background. And I'm looking forward to Thursday and Friday. So my mom is she turned 80 on Friday, and my stepdad is turning 70 next week, and they're having a big birthday party. on Friday night, and I volunteered to do all of the flowers. And I cannot wait to get my hands into an abundance of flowers. It's one of my favorite things to do is to play with floral arrangements, one of those fun hobbies. And what color blue do I want? I'm going to try some of this Prussian blue, and I might want to brighten that up a little bit, but we'll start there. Let's see, find a clean brush. There's something for me about the blue and yellow are complementary colors on the color wheel. But also I think it just reminds me of the blue of the sunflowers, or the yellow of the sunflowers against the brilliant blue of the Colorado sky. Okay, so I'm definitely going to want to get this a little bit dry here. And I'm going to want to brighten up this blue, and I'm going to want to get in here around these flower petals a little bit closer in. But I don't want to mix those colors, so I'm going to hit this. Oh, thanks, Tori. I'm sure I will take lots of pictures. And it's going to be fun to just go shop for the flowers and see what's available, right? So I don't have any pre set ideas. We were going to do flowers in pumpkins, but it's just far enough past pumpkin season that I'm going to do them in vases, which will be fun. And I'm lifting up my page so that I'm not accidentally drying all that paint on my palette as well. And you can see how much the paper is folding here. Again, this isn't super thick paper. And I've got that yellow paint on there really thick. You can see a lot of the texture on the page. So it's going to take it a while to dry. And flowers also make me think of my favorite aunt who passed away yesterday. She turned 80 on October 16th. She turned 90 on October 16th, lived a long, full life, and was apparently in quite a bit of pain. And so I'm celebrating her with these gorgeous sunflowers as well. Talk about, so many acts of kindness in my life, and someone that really was so creative. She was a weaver and a quilter and a painter. She was a school teacher for a long time. She worked in the healing arts for a long time, and she was just an amazing woman who saw the joy and the beauty in the everyday. And she was just so many treasured memories of her. So I'm celebrating her today. And there's that part of me that, is sad at my loss and yet happy for her. She was also an amazing gardener. Up until the very end of her life, she was out working in her garden. Thank you, Tori. Lots of wonderful memories. I remember one summer we went to visit the kids and my two kids and I, and Brad's parents, maybe at a spring break or something when they were visiting. We were all in Texas, and she had decided she was going to paint a mural on the fence in her garden, and we got to help. And so we spent a just delightful afternoon. In fact, the fence was this color blue, and we painted all these flowers all over it. And that was one of those mini memories and joyful days. All right, let's see. I'm going to get a little purple here And what if we bring in a little purple to the centers of these flowers? See if we can make a little brown. It's a little wonky vase, but that's okay. It's going to need some leaves on here. A lot more layers, because when I think about sunflowers, I think about all the many layers of the sunflowers. Thank you, Leslie. I appreciate that. All right. A little bit of purple, a little bit of yellow. Actually, maybe a lot of purple and a little less yellow. I'll start layering up some color. And I like that little bit of the black stamping in the background that's from a handmade stamp. So I don't necessarily want to cover all of that dark up, and I could always go back in and stamp it up a little bit more. But it's from, I had a lot of fun in layering the page. So this is a handmade stamp from just fun foam on a piece of cardboard, and I took a ballpoint pen and I drew into the fun foam to get those patterns on there. So I love, love, love making my own stamps. All right, I like that. Just the little pops of brown. It doesn't need a lot of brown. And I'm wondering if maybe we'll get a little touch of that in the background. Maybe our vase is sitting on a table here. Usually I put a piece of paper underneath my, just take one of these prompt pages, because otherwise I end up gluing all my pages together. And this journal feels kind of long and skinny. It's kind of a funny, I don't know, feels like a different dimensional shape. It's not. I think it's just a 9 by 12. All right, so that just makes it feel a little more grounded. And I'm hearing my mom in my head saying that maybe that line shouldn't be straight, that maybe that line, my mom is also so creative and talented as an artist. So maybe we'll make that line a little less straight to kind of shift and change that perspective, so that feels a little bit better. It helps to kind of, ground that vase a little bit. Thank you, Blanca. And I'm kind of wondering if I want some blue in the background, but again, I don't want to cover up everything, but I'm feeling like maybe just a little bit of this bright blue in the background. And maybe I'm going to actually thin that down quite a bit with some water and maybe even brush some of it away. So I still see some of the marks and the edges of writing underneath there. You can see my yellow is still not dry. I'm still getting some green in there. I'm so happy to be back art journaling. I've had all these. I did the face project and the zentangle project, and I was watching one of my friend Andrea's videos the other day, and I'm like, I am so missing art journaling. And so I'm super glad to be back working in my art journal again. All right, that feels like it's brightening it up quite a bit, and now I feel like I almost want that blue everywhere, which means that the vase is going to change colors again, because that blue feels really good for the background because, again, this is about expressing gratitude and honoring an aspect of nature that I'm grateful for. So it's those sunflowers against the brilliant blue skies. Colorado just has amazing skies, amazing clouds, but also per capita, Colorado has more sunshiny days than any other state in the United States. Who knew? I did not know that until I moved here, and I'm really grateful for that sunshine. Okay, so I'm going to darken up this vase just a little bit more. I'm going to bring back a little bit of that. Wonder if I've got maybe like some ultramarine blue in here. Let's see if there's anything left in this old tube here. I think that one's pretty much, oh no, we're going to get a tiny little bit out of there. That ought to be just about perfect. And the next time I go in to add some layers to my sunflowers, I'm going to want to change up my brush, probably the shape and the size of my brush, so I start to get some difference in the strokes and the shapes of the petals. I love how sunflowers are layered. That's better. We'll just brighten that all up just a little bit so it stands out a little bit from that background. And one of the things about working in this Hanamulla journal, or if you have another journal that's just kind of sketchbooky paper, drawing paper, not super thick, if you put a layer of gesso on it first, it will definitely make it a lot easier to build up mixed media layers. So tomorrow night I go live at 5 p.m. Mountain Time, I think. Let me check my calendar. And I'm trying to decide what prompt, to focus on tomorrow. And I'm looking at the next page of prompts in the gratitude prompts journal as this is drying up a little bit here. And I love the prompt, how have your life experiences shaped the wise and resilient woman you are today? Thank you, Blanca. I appreciate that. Um, and I'm thinking that will be a great one to do some intuitive collage tomorrow. So I will still be working in this journal, but I'll be working with collage in my journal tomorrow. All right, so I'm thinking I want to get some leaves in here, just a couple of leaves. It needs that bright spark of green. And I'm like, where did my pencil go? How could my pencil disappear right in front of me? Buried under something. There it is, buried under the paint. And I'm looking from a composition and not loving this, but it also feels like it can, use a little bit of a leaf coming here. What I love about sunflowers is they have these really sort of fascinating, very textured leaves. They actually have really pokey stems. I'm going to put one over there, and then we'll put a third one over here, and 3 should be plenty to help balance that out. And thank you everybody for your sympathies. I called both of my kids yesterday to tell them, and there's that, grief at our loss, celebration of the memories, but also some grief over, they're both in college. These have been their very busy years, and they haven't been back to Texas to see our family there. And so I think there was a little bit, my son expressed a little bit, I wish I had seen her kind of thing. And it's tough, right? It's tough to make everything happen and everything work. God, all that paint is really wet, so it's super glary today. Apologize for that. Okay, I'm gonna get a little white under here, smooth that out, and then I'll go back in with the dark green again. But I use that white to be able to cover up that blue a little bit more. All right, so I'm thinking I might move this one down here a little bit and make it a little bit smaller. I don't want all those leaves to be the same size. Yeah, it's exactly what it needed was that green, right? To just kind of really make them pop out. The sunflowers still need a lot of color, but I'm leaving that for last so we can really get that, those pops. I'm just going to tuck a couple of more little small leaves in there. Mix a little bit of that blue, darken that one up back there. I love how it's coming together so it feels bright and happy, right? And definitely one of my, like I said, one of my absolute favorite things about living here are the sunflowers. I'm kind of wanting to do that thing that I love to do, which is to come in with the black posca and draw over everything. And I kind of like where it is. But let's get in here with more yellow, a little bit different shape brush. We're going to get some more layers. So this is a much brighter yellow. And I'm going between where I put that first layer of petals to start to build up some of those, that layered look. Probably should have dried those green leaves, and we're going to get it all mixing together. But this is in my art journal, it's just practice. So I'm looking at this, and what I'm loving about this is this feels like a really fun painting to take to a canvas, right? When I come up with something like this that I really enjoy or that I would love to see hanging on the walls of my studio, this one feels like one that I would love to recreate, which is always an interesting effort to make and might be a really good challenge for me. And as I'm starting to do my planning, Brad and I are already, thinking about next year's schedules and dates and that kind of thing. I'm going to do my Painting in Your PJs live on New Year's Day again, where I will, and that one, I'll probably do it on Zoom and invite people to come onto Zoom with me, and I'll stream it live on YouTube, but I will come in and paint for a few hours. Last year I did 4 canvases, and I need a project for that. So you guys that are here know me really well. So if I were going to come in and paint with you for a few hours early on New Year's Day to kick off the year, what might be fun to paint or create? I don't know, but I am open to suggestions. Leslie, you especially always have great suggestions for me. So I love layering on the acrylic paint really thick. It's creating some really beautiful texture, but it's also going to take a tremendous amount of Yeah, it was super fun. It was super fun last year, and I worked on four different little canvases all at the same time, and do it early in the day before, we all get busy with our New Year's celebrations. Might be fun to do something with mandalas, could be fun to do something with word of the year. I don't know, but it will totally be a free come paint with me kind of thing. So stay tuned for details on that. All right, this is starting to feel really yummy. The leaves need more texture and dimension and veins, but I'm really liking how this is coming together. And I think I want maybe just a little bit of that yellow, like we've got a little light shining on our vase down here. Maybe a little more of that yellow in our background as well. Oh, don't like that one. This is what I love about acrylics. If you don't like it, just wait for it to dry. Word of the year would be, yeah, a super good one to do. We might do that in December. I like to go into the year. I mean, January 1st would work as well, but do like to go into the year knowing that word personally, but word of the year would be fun. In my Your Midlife Renaissance program, we were chatting recently, and there was one of the members that shared she does a word of the month and to help keep her focused. And I'm like, I like the idea of having a word of the month. And we can often lose track of our word of the year. All right, let's brighten these babies up with some white. That's really white, but that's okay. It's amazing how adding that white really changes things up, right? Just brightens the whole thing up. I don't know if I'm going to do anything in the centers. I really like the simplicity of the centers, but oh my gosh, it needed that white. How beautiful is that when we start to really get that richness of the light in there, really changes the whole thing. All right, those actually feel really good. And I have to be mindful of time because I have a early business call this morning. All right. Let's change up our green a little bit and see if we can add a little more texture here to our sunflowers. Oh, it's got to, oops, be brighter than that. Remember when you're mixing colors to start with your light and a tiny bit of your dark. I'm just going to add some variety of color, and then I'm going to come back in with my dark again. See if I can get that out of the glare. So now they feel nice and bright. And I'm going to want to maybe even darken that green up a little bit with some blue. Tiny little bit of blue there. And come in with a much smaller brush and see if we can make them a little more leafy. Not ever going for realism here, just going for, what do I think a sunflower leaf looks like? All right, this one is making me so happy, and I'm wanting to get some new paintings done that have brighter colors in them to hang here in the studio, because what's hanging down here right now is all feels like really old paintings, need to get painted over. So this one definitely feels like a fun one to, as I mentioned before, maybe bring to a bigger canvas. All right, that feels pretty happy. It doesn't feel perfect. Bye, Blanca. It's always so great to have you here. Tag me on Instagram so I can see your gorgeous marigolds. I love marigolds. That would be fun to paint as well. And bring a little more shadow in here on our edges of our vases. Just make that vase look a little more round. It's hard to tell right now because it's wet and shiny. To get Brad down here to work on the lights with me. And then maybe we'll shade that just a little bit more. I might have to make a copy of this to make a birthday card for my mom. She would love these. All right. I'm going to stop here and let it dry. I might add some more to the sunflowers, but I feel like if I keep working on it, I'm going to end up fussing with it and end up messing it up. The only thing is I'm almost feeling like I want a little less of that dark, but not to completely get rid of the dark, but maybe I can just blend this a little bit and make some of those darks a little more subtle on my leaves here. And then I still have all this extra paint, so I will use that either on an art journal page, or I have a big canvas that I'm using right now to layer paint on, extra paint, because I'm also working on a new very large painting, large for me anyway. So none of this will go to waste. It'll get used in some other ways and places. Maybe get some little smaller petals in there. Little smaller brush, we get, different shapes and patterns. We got a little green in there. All right. I'm getting fussy with it, which means it's time to stop. Okay, so I'm going to call it quits. Hi, Matriarch Astrology, and welcome. So I always love just having pages started. So I would not leave it here on my palette and waste it. I would definitely just either get another blank page in my journal and put the paint on the page in a journal, or grab a little blank canvas, or even a different journal, because I always have lots of journals, and I would just use it to make an abstract background on top of something else. And so that would allow me not to waste it. Yeah, I can totally show you what I will use it on. I'm trying to see if I have a journal sitting within easy reach at the moment. I'm going to go grab, I don't know if let's see if my cord will reach. Yeah, so let me grab a different journal. All right, super, super happy with this beauty. I'm going to put it aside to get nice and dry. And here is another art journal that I have been working in all year long and love. And so I'm just going to get to an open spread. Awesome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I love that you're learning to paint. So it is a joyful, joyful thing to do. So I'm just going to come in with a brayer because there's a lot of paint here. And I am just going to put it on a background. Oops, this silly thing. I love the size of this sprayer, but it was a pretty inexpensive one that I got on Amazon as part of a set. And I need to get a screwdriver down here because the screw has a tendency to come out just like me. Occasionally you get that loose screw. And look, when we start to get those colors mixing together, then the next time I come down here to paint, I have something started. I'm not stuck staring at a blank page, not knowing what to do. I have something already to respond to. Collage over, or for me personally, I would probably come in and journal all over the top of this. And once this bit dries, this becomes a really fun collage bit as well. But I use up every bit of paint. One, paint is expensive, right? And two, it's not good to release it into the environment. So I try to get as much onto a page as possible. But I love the texture of the roller. And so I can also just see myself once this under paper is dry coming in and having a lot of fun with this as some collage background images as well. So that is what I would do with the leftover paint. And now I have a prepared page using the leftover paint from our pretty sunflower painting. So doesn't feel like 100% finished, but it feels pretty close. Super, super happy with this, how this went today. And you never know, right? I had a vision of it in my head and I had to just let that vision unfold, let go of any outcomes and just be in the joy of the process and the gratitude for my beautiful aunt and the gratitude for the gorgeous sunflowers that bloom so long here. Oh, that's so cool. I love that. And what is your name? Matriarch Astrology is probably not your name. I'd love to greet you by name. So thank you so much for joining me, everyone. I will be back tomorrow night at 5 p.m. Mountain Time for some intuitive collage in my art journal, which may or may not include paint, might be all collage, but I've been hankering to do some collage work. So super pleased with this one. Super, super grateful as always to everyone that watches live and watches the replay. Do me a favor and click that like button to let everyone know this is a video. Ileana, yeah, beautiful. Thank you. Great to have you here. Great to meet you. Thank you so much, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you guys all again soon. Bye-bye.